I need to talk about this. This is Lawrence D. Adams. I want you to click the like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. But I got to talk about this because I hear it all the time. I post on Facebook and I get the women coming out in droves talking about they're looking for a good man. Good man. He has to be this way. He has to be that way. He needs to have a car. He needs to be educated. Looking for a good man. What's so interesting is you never hear men really express, that's another whole different thing, what they want. I think it's time for men to step up and have a standard. Certain things they will and will not tolerate. What they will have in their life and what they will not have in their life. I think that's a big problem right now. Because what happened is we have a whole movement that's going on that you hear only one side of the story and you don't hear the whole side of the story. And that we hear a lot of women expressing what they want. We don't hear a lot of men expressing what they want. And if a man expresses what he wants, then he's criticized. Then he's ostracized. Then he's being unrealistic. Or you just need to be quiet. But I think it's time for men to have a standard. Yes, a standard of what you're going to have in your life. Who's going to be in your life, whether you want kids, whether you do not want kids, where you're going to dress, where you're going to eat. If you do not have a standard, everybody will dictate to you where you should be. I teach my sons this all the time. I'm like, you know, Destin and Caleb, dude, you got to have a standard. And if you do not have a standard, what's going to happen is you're going to end up being a follower. I did not create you to be, I did not become your father. The whole scenario happened so that you can be a follower. I created you. I wanted you to be a leader. I have instilled in you to be a leader. And men these days need to have a standard and stop settling for situations, women, circumstances that is beneath you. Oh, yes, you need to have it together, but stop settling. Too many men, I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it. I'll be the first to admit I've been so guilty of it, of settling and not having a standard. I allow people to dictate to me what I should have and what I shouldn't have, where I should go and where I shouldn't go, who I should be with and who I should not be with. I allowed myself to be a pawn in somebody else's chess game. No more. I think it's time for men to have a standard. Yes, have a standard of what kind of woman you want in your life. Stop selling for women that you know that are beneath you. Stop it. This entitlement that a lot of women have, just because you're a woman, you think you're entitled, has to cut out. Has to cut out. You men must have a standard. Stop trying to lower your standard so that you can get with a woman. If she does not meet your standards, boom, she needs to go. She needs to go. Whoa. See how quick that was? She needs to go. But if she do not meet your standard, oh, she has to go. If the job that you applying for does not meet your standards, it has to go. You have to be realistic with this, but you need to honor yourself. A lot of men I see, I talk to, do not honor themselves. They put everyone else above themselves. And don't tell me that's what men are supposed to do. That's not right. It's time for men to have a standard. You need to have a standard. Every man on this earth needs to have a standard. Stop settling. Stop settling. I know you may not like this video. I don't care. The one thing I learned from my times of settling and not having a standard of what is and what cannot be in my life, I was the most miserable. I was on the brink of depression because I was pleasing everybody else, but I wasn't pleasing myself. And the sad part of it is I thought I was doing what was right, but I really wasn't because I didn't have a standard. I settled with being with people that I know wasn't even my caliber of people. I settled in conversations that I knew that I don't even talk about. I settled because I wanted to be in. or I settled because I was looking for validation from the people I was around. Forget that. No more looking for validation from other people. I have to validate myself. I have to say, you know what? I'm not going to settle. It's time for you as men to stop settling and have a standard. If I can tell you how many men I knew who settled and married women they shouldn't have married because the church or because this prophet or someone told them that was their wives, and they settled and they look miserable. They're not enjoying life. They end up going to cheat on the woman because they settled for something that they knew was not good for them. Stop settling. Stop settling. You don't need to settle anymore. Like I said, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not going to come on this video, shoot this video and say, hey, you know, I'm above it. No, I settled in so many ways. Settle, stop settling. But you got to have a standard. You need to have a standard before you even get to the woman, before you even get to the house, before you even get to the job. You need a standard that this is what I'm about. Either you with it or you ain't. Some of you guys settle so much and dragged around from this place to that place because you have no standard. This is what I'm about. If you don't like it, you can step, or I don't even have to be bothered. But you gotta stop settling. Stop settling. Stop settling in your relationships. Stop settling in these churches. Stop settling in all around. Have a standard. Your standard should be something that you are, not something that you just put out. You got to be the standard. You can't just put a standard out there and you not be the standard. But you got to say, you know what? This is what I'm about. This is my standard. And if you do not line up with that standard, you have to go out of my life. I expect this and nothing less. And watch, what you really been looking for is that respect that you have not been getting because you have not had a standard. The reason why you don't have respect or people don't respect you because they know that you're settled for just anything and you have no standard. Because every man looks for respect. Every man wants to be respected. But every man doesn't have a standard. And you women looking for these guys, why are you selling with guys who don't have a standard? And most guys settle, let me get back to this. Most guys settle and don't have a standard because they're not comfortable in who they are and who they are. So any woman that comes along, even if she don't meet his standards, he accepts it. Then when everything goes crazy and haywire, he wants to cry, moan, and say something is wrong. No, you accepted this woman and she did not meet your standards. Now you got to live with it. Well, she ain't respecting me. Dude, you didn't have a standard in the first place. So what do you expect? If you do not lay out for these women what you expect, how do you expect them to know? It's about to thunder here, which is cool. But how do you expect them to know? You have to have a standard. Hey, like, share, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to start shooting every day. Get back into the game. You used to have a radio show about to pop. But you guys got to have a standard. Stop settling for mess. Have a standard. I remember my father, he was younger. He told me about, he used to walk around with suits on, so much so people thought he was a lawyer. No, that was his standard of how he wanted to present himself when he was out in the public. What are you presenting yourself out when you out in the public? Do you have a standard? When you walk in a room, do people know that this is who you are? Do you have a standard? Most of you guys do not have a standard. So what these women are doing is giving you a standard. Stop allowing these women to give you a standard, bruh. Stop allowing these women to give you a standard. You have a standard. They got to come into your world. Too many of you brothers are coming into their world. And then when you come into their world, you get mad because they're toting you around by the seat of your pants and you're henpecked. Because you don't have a backbone. And you don't have a standard of what you will and will not tolerate in your life. You have that. That's the sad part. A lot of you guys are just, I watch them every day at work. They settle for women settle for cars, settle for jobs, settle for situations that they know they should not even be in, only because they don't know who they are. They're not comfortable in their own skin. When a man becomes comfortable in his own skin, he stops settling. You got to come up to the standard. What I like is, when you used to see older people, when you go into their house, certain cultures, you had to take off your shoes because they didn't want to mess up the carpet. And I remember when I was younger, they had the cushions, or they had the couch with the plastic on it, where it was their standard for them. Whether you liked it or not, you weren't sitting on that couch, you were going to sit on that plastic. Whether you had holes in your shoes or not, you were taking your shoes off because that was their standard for their house. Some of you guys, I'm talking to men, need to set a standard of what you're going to have in your house. Stop allowing other people to dictate, society most of all, to tell you that you got to accept just anything. You don't have to accept just anything. You need to have a standard. I know this video may not be popular, but I want you to click the like and the share. Subscribe to this channel. Brother man, this is Lawrence D. Adams, Mr. L Radio Show. Used to have it back in the day. But I want you to remember, brothers, have a standard. Stop settling. I'm out.